मंगल भवन अमंगलहारी प्रभु सुदशरथ अजर बिहारी। राम सिया राम जय जय राम। राम सिया राम जय जय राम। राम
Sitaram Om Shakti. This is Shakti Sundays with Justin D. Anthony. I want to say it's a pleasure and honor to have you locked on as we play the songs of the Divine Devi and we bring you teachings of the Divine Devi on this very auspicious Sunday morning. On today's Shakti Sundays, we will be focusing our discourse on Ma Sheetala, a form of the Divine Devi. We will be looking into her powers, her stories, and we'll be discussing, more widely speaking, the significance of the worship of this goddess. So do me one favor in the first place. Share this link across your Facebook as we speak today about Ma Sheetala, a form of the Divine Devi. I want to begin in the first place by saying Sitaram and Pranam to Monica Rupnarayan. I want to say Pranam to Shirley Lochin. I want to say Pranam and good morning to all those watching in Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Suriname, the various Caribbean islands. I want to say Pranam and good morning to all those watching in the United States of America, Canada, the Mauritius, South Africa, Australia, and elsewhere. Wherever you're locking in from, wherever you're locked in from, I want to say, may the Divine Devi shower her grace on you and your family in a special way. I also want to take this opportunity to say Pranam and good morning to all the devotees of the Sri Mahakali Durga Mandir located at 9266 Springfield Boulevard in Queens Village, New York. In particular, I want to extend greetings and say Pranam to Pujari Kabardas G2 and Grandma Rose. I also want to take this opportunity to say Pranam to Indira Molai. Once again, share this link across your Facebook as we speak about this particular form of the goddess today. I want to say pranam and good morning to Sushma Sunny. I want to say pranam and good morning to my brother Wilbert Sicharan as well. So as we begin our discourse for today, we are speaking about Ma Sheetalama. To understand who this goddess is, we must understand her relationship to two other goddesses. Under one interpretation, there is Mother Kateri. And from Mother Kateri, two goddesses emerge. Parameshwari Devi, that is the goddess that rides the chicken, and she works with Sangli Karapan in relation to your land, and she is, she is worshipped by farmers for rice farming. But the other goddess that emerges from Goddess Kateri is Ma Sheetalama. Some in Guyana would pronounce it as Siklama, and she has various other names as well, depending on what part of India you were to go to. But Ma Sheetalama is a universally accepted name for this form of the goddess. And if you go to various parts of the world and you use the term Ma Sheetalama, devotees would, universally speaking and generally speaking, be able to recognize what goddess you are speaking of. So to just put it in summary, there is Goddess Kateri, and then from Goddess Kateri, there comes about two goddesses. Parameshwari Devi, the goddess on the chicken, and Ma Sheetalama, the goddess that we're speaking about today. Ma Sheetalama is a very special goddess because she is the goddess specifically in charge of illness and sickness. She is the goddess called upon when an individual is very ill. Indeed, she is the goddess who heals those affected by poxes and other illnesses. Typically speaking, she is the goddess that helps the individual who is suffering from an illness that has come about because of unsanitary conditions. Any diseases related to, nastiness and dirty and germs and bacterium and everything. Or just unclean places that have, caused or brought about the disease. She's a goddess that controls and deals with all these areas. How do you identify Ma Sheetalama if you were to see an image or a murti of her? How would you identify that this is indeed that goddess? You would see that Ma Sheetalama is the goddess who rides a donkey. In one of her hands, she has a broom. And in the other hand, she carries a pot holding water. But what are the reasons why this goddess has a broom and has a pot filled with water? Why is she holding these two particular items in her hand? What can this tell us about this form of the goddess? She holds the broom in her hand because it is that broom that she uses to, in essence, beat out the sickness or illness from the devotee. When Ma Sheetala manifests on a human being in a temple or etc., and she comes, she will use that broom to gyrate the individual. She takes the broom and she passes it over the individual. And on particular areas where of the body where the individual, has this illness or has pain or has some kind of, defect or some issue, she will take the broom and she will beat that part. In essence, alleviating or taking away or drawing out the sickness from that area of the person's body. So here we explain the significance of the broom held by this goddess. Ma Sheetala also holds a pot with water inside. But what exactly is all that about? The pot of water that she holds is a very, very special water that has healing and medical properties. So that pot is also used to suggest to us of the healing and medical aspect of Ma Sheetala in helping the devotee with their sickness. As we go along in the program, we will speak further in depth about this goddess. In the meantime, though, I want to say pranam and good morning to Marilyn Silchan. I want to say pranam and good morning to Pearly Singh from Legwan. I want to say pranam and good morning to Gail.
Shiv Shankar ke Rashpati, Om Namah
I want to say good morning and pranam to Cindy Sukram. I want to say good morning and pranam to my grandpa Beta and grandma Chitra listening in Guyana. This song is in reference and in glorification of the goddess Kali. I want to say pranam and good morning to Christina Prashad as well. So as we continue onwards with our discourse for today, speaking about this form of the goddess Ma Sheetala, the goddess with the broom, the goddess with the pot of water, and indeed the goddess who rides the donkey. As we continue our discourse, we know that when it comes to a newborn, we shave the head of a baby at Gangama for reasons of purification, to purify that baby's soul, and to, in essence, to remove the past karmas or some of the past karmas of that baby. That is often what we practice. But for those who are devotees of Ma Sheetala, they practice something different. Or indeed, the shaving of the hair of the child, called the Bal Mundan, is not exclusive to Gangama. when it comes to a newborn. When a child is born after a few months, devotees will go in the temple of Ma Sheetala Ma. They will take that child and they will shave its head before the murti of Ma Sheetala Ma. And they will do worship, they will make offerings to this form of the goddess. But do you know the reason why? Ma Sheetala Ma is the goddess who cures and prevents sicknesses. So by offering, by shaving that child's hair, by doing offerings for the goddess Ma Sheetala Ma in the temple, it is believed that the goddess Ma Sheetala Ma will bless that child by taking away sicknesses that are in its path and protecting that child in its lifetime from illnesses that emerge. So for you to have the understanding, the practice of shaving a baby's hair is not exclusive to Gangama. For this form of the goddess, devotees will go and make offerings and shave the hair. They will go in the temple. They will stand before Ma Sheetala Ma and they will shave the hair of the baby before this form of the goddess, so that this goddess may come, may bless the child, removing illnesses that are in its way and protecting that child for its lifetime from severe ailments and sickness. I want to say pranam and good morning to Bibi Chandra. I also want to say pranam to Sunita Roy and family as well. I hope all of you are doing well. And indeed, to all those in the diaspora, I hope all of you had a blessed, holy,
तेरे गीत चढ़ाया, ले तेरे गीत चढ़ाया, सुबह चोर तेरा अंग विराजे, केसर दिल का लगाया, केसर दिल का लगाया, सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी, तेरा पालन पाया, तेरा पालन पाया। जय अम्बे माँ, जय दुर्गा माँ, जय अम्बे माँ, जय दुर्गा माँ, जय अम्बे माँ, जय दुर्गा माँ, जय अम्बे माँ, जय दुर्गा माँ। ब्रह्मा वेद पढ़े तेरे द्वारे, शंकर ज्ञान लगाया, शंकर ज्ञान लगाया, नन्हे पग तेरे आगे आए, सोने का चाक चढ़ाया, सोने का चाक चढ़ाया, सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी, तेरा पालन पाया, तेरा पालन पाया। जय अम्बे माँ, जय दुर्गा माँ, जय अम्बे माँ, जय दुर्गा माँ, जय अम्बे माँ, जय दुर्गा माँ, जय अम्बे माँ, जय दुर्गा माँ। धूप दीप नैवेद्य आरती, मोहन भोग लगाया, मोहन भोग लगाया, गणमावत मैया तेरे गुण गावे, मन वचित फल पाया, मन वचित फल पाया। सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी, तेरा पालन पाया, तेरा पालन पाया। सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासिनी, तेरा पालन पाया, तेरा पालन पाया। जगदम्बा देवी, जगदम्बा देवी, जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी। जगदम्बा देवी, जगदम्बा देवी, जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी। जगदम्बा देवी, जगदम्बा देवी, जय 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 जगदम्बा देवी। जगदम्बा
I want to say Sitaram to Usha Sicharan. I want to take this opportunity to say pranam as well to Robert Ramp and Anjani Singh. So as we all know, the Hindu festivity of Holi was celebrated a few days ago. But this discourse that I'm giving today is very, very timely and indeed appropriate, because 8 days after the festivity of Holi is celebrated, devotees, globally speaking, will celebrate Sheetala Ashtami. That is a particular day in worship, in glorification of the same goddess I'm speaking about today. 8 days after Holi is celebrated, there will be Sheetala Ashtami. And I believe, if I recall the correct date, it will be on March 22nd. Devotees will do worship of this form of the goddess. And worship of this form of the goddess is on the Ashtami, the Sheetala Ashtami, is believed to ward off all heat-generated diseases, or just generally speaking, all ailments. And it brings me to one point. There is a view out there, or there is a belief out there, that some people have, that these forms of the goddess should not be worshipped, and that we only go to these forms of the goddess in very, very particular cases and only when we're sick and etc. There's a view out there that we should only do worship of these goddesses and come to these goddesses when we are sick or, the case calls for it. But I want to tell you today, my friends, what a flawed view that is. If you only remember forms of the goddess when you need them, what exactly is that? That's what you would call using the goddess. That's what you would call only selectively and by convenience remembering the goddess. So this view out there that, we shouldn't approach these forms of the goddess like Kateri or Sheetala, as I'm speaking about today. We shouldn't go to them and we shouldn't pray to them and all of that. It is a flawed view. And it is indeed an ignorant view peddled by people who should rethink their position. We shouldn't go to the goddess alone when we need her or when, our circumstances call for it. But rather, going to the goddess and praying for the goddess should be a daily activity. You pray to the goddess, you approach the goddess for all the ways that you're blessed with, to express gratitude for how you are blessed. Thank the goddess that you're in good health today. While many people today are bedridden or in a hospital, praying for good health, while you are in good health today, thank the goddess for that. So this view that we should only go to certain forms of the goddess when we need them is so flawed. And the point I want to drive home and the point I want to suggest to you today is worshiping all these forms of the goddess are highly beneficial and will aid your life in a profound way. This goddess Ma Sheetala is associated with preventing sicknesses. If you pray to her, you pray to her when it comes to the Sheetala Ashtami. She will bless you by warding off illnesses, ailments. If you are currently, facing an illness, she will relieve you of that illness. Or she will put you in the track, put things in your way for you to gain a resolution for that illness. So the point I just want to drive home once again is that we don't just approach the goddess when problems come about. When certain problems come about, we need to approach the goddess as much as we can, as much as, our time permits. Remembering the goddess and going to the goddess only when you need her comes down to only using the goddess. And that is not love of the Divine Mother. That is just simply using the goddess. And we should all aspire not to go into that. Not to be an individual who uses the goddess and only selectively remembers the goddess. But we should all aspire to be a devotee who has a love for the goddess, who has an appreciation for the goddess, that is so strong, that is so ironclad, so unbreakable, that every day we have a longing to remember the goddess. That every day we have a longing to just get up and worship the goddess, to just thank the goddess. And it comes down to one point as well. You know what is true love, my friends? People in today's world, they have a very flawed and corrupted view of love. That is, they only love you based on the condition. And you know what that condition is? Only when they can have a benefit from you. That's not love. Many people think that that is somehow love. But that is not love. Love is unconditional. Whether you benefit or not, the love exists. Irrespective of the circumstances, the love exists. But when love is based on condition, that love is not real. We should all seek to love the goddess unconditionally. Not just simply by condition. Oh, today I'm ill. Oh, today I'm sick. I will go to the goddess and ask the goddess to help me. And then after you get your help from the goddess, you forget the goddess. Which many people today do. We should all aspire to have unconditional love of the goddess. Unlike many devotees today, they only approach the goddess because they wanted the goddess to help them with one particular issue, and that's it. After that, they never return to the goddess. They don't want to return to the goddess. They want to go about their life just having fun and etc., without ever expressing gratitude for the goddess and her blessings. When you say you love the goddess, it should mean something. It should mean that I love her regardless of what's happening in my life. I love her no matter what. True love of the Divine Devi is what we should all aspire to have. And true love of the goddess is a love that endures so much, yet still remains. A love that can never ever be taken away.
bola bajawe damaru
Shiva bam 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 bola bajave damaru
o mere bam 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 bola bajawe damaru
mere bam 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 bola bajave damaru
bajawe damaru bajawe damaru
bajave damaru bajave damaru
bajawe damaru bajawe damaru
bajave damaru
bajawe damaru shiva bam 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 bola bajawe damaru
Shiva bam 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 bola bajave
I want to say pranam and good morning to Nalini H. I want to say pranam and good morning to Robert Ramp. I want to say good morning and pranam to Debbie Algu, Betty Sancho, Golan, Savitri Lokman. So as we know, 8 days after Holi is celebrated, Sheetala Ashtami, the day in reference and glorification of this form of the goddess, is celebrated. But how can we celebrate it at home? What are the proper procedures? What are the things that we need to keep in mind if we want to do worship of this goddess on the Ashtami? And I want to re-emphasize to you that this goddess is the goddess that ensures the well-being of the individual and the well-being of children and the well-being of the family. She is in charge with the domain of warding off illnesses, helping us if we are facing a particular illness. So her blessings are quite profound and indeed much needed. In a world today where we see that there are so many different illnesses emerging, as we would recall the COVID with the various strains of that. And of course, as you put on the news every single day, you hear about some disease, some type of disease, beginning to emerge. Someone has contracted it. So it is a concern that continues. But how should you, in a very simple, accessible way, how should you do worship for Ma Sheetala on her Ashtami? Well, on the day of the Ashtami, the Sheetala Ashtami, you are not supposed to light your stove. You're not supposed to cook or light any stove. That is why the night before the Sheetala Ashtami, devotees make their parsad, they make whatever food and dinner and etc. that they need to make. They cook the night before, because on the day of the Ashtami, it is prohibited from you to light up your stove. And the reason is, the goddess Ma Sheetala, when she comes to visit your home, she will come and she will bless that stove. And you do not want the goddess to be burned or hurt in the process. There is a little story that an individual, they didn't know it was Sheetala Ashtami. So they cooked and everything, and the stove was hot. As the stove remains hot, for a period of time after, you cook and etc. And when Ma Sheetala came to, bless them and bless the home, bless the stove of that home, she was burnt and angry, and she cursed an individual. So this is for you to have the understanding. On the day of Sheetala Ashtami, you do not light your stove at all, but rather you consume cold foods or cold beverages and etc. So it is not permitted for you to light your stove on the day of Sheetala Ashtami. All the parsad and etc. that you want to offer the goddess, you make that the night before. And for something for you to keep in mind, Ma Sheetala is not a goddess that you can be offered, things that are hot. You're not going to make hot sweet rice and you're going to offer it to her on the day of her Ashtami. Because remember, she is the cooling one. She is the goddess who, takes away heat generated or fever causing, illnesses. She is the cooling one. So as we go more now into depth of how to do the worship of Ma Sheetala on the Ashtami. On the day of the Ashtami, the devotee will get up and the devotee will bathe. But when you bathe, you do not use hot water. You take a cool bath with lukewarm water or cool water. You cleanse yourself. You take the image of Ma Sheetala, or if you have the murti of Ma Sheetala, you place it. You will light up diyas. You will offer sindoor, mehendi, haldi. You will offer sweets. You will offer kheer, coconut, bananas, and other fruits to the goddess. And you will chant and you will pray and you will ask the goddess to bless you. If you're facing an illness at the moment, to alleviate that illness. Or you'll ask the goddess to ward off any sort of illness that is in your path. That whatever illness exists right now, may she protect you from that illness or ailment. You'll spray your perfume, you'll do your arti of the goddess, and you'll take her blessings. So this is a very, very simplified but indeed accessible way of worshipping Ma Sheetala on her Ashtami. So remember, you offer the goddess sindoor, mehendi, haldi. You offer her kheer, Indian sweets. You'll offer her coconut, bananas. You'll chant various mantras in reference to her, or just simply speak with her. Speak with her as though you go to see your mother. Speak with her, tell her problems that you're facing. Speak with her and thank her. You spray your perfume, you take your arti, you touch the image or the murti 3 times, and that is how you do the worship of Ma Sheetala. On that particular day of the Sheetala Ashtami, you're not supposed to eat anything aside from the parsa that you have offered. Whatever parsad you have offered to this form of the goddess, that is the only thing on this day of the Ashtami that you will consume. You will not go and consume anything else. So this is for you to have the understanding. On the day of the Ashtami, you keep a fast, you do your worship of the goddess, you do your various offerings. And you do not consume anything else. The parsad that you have offered, Ma Sheetalama, that is the parsad you will consume. And by doing so, in essence, you break your fast. So right after this song, we will turn to a short story about Ma Sheetalama, and we'll bring this discourse to an end. But in the meantime, I just want to take this opportunity to invite all devotees. The Sri Mahakali Durga Mandir, located at 9266 Springfield Boulevard in Queens Village, New York, would like to cordially invite you and your family to join them for 4 sessions of Devi Yajna. From Wednesday, April 9th to Saturday, April 12th, they would like to cordially invite you for 4 sessions of Devi Yajna in celebration of Pujari Kavirdas Jitu's 70th birthday. It'll be 4 sessions of glorification of the Divine Devi. It will indeed be a divine and spiritually uplifting, memorable experience. Officiating Pandit will be Pandit Munilal. So once again, the Sri Mahakali Durga Mandir, located at 9266 Springfield Boulevard in Queens Village, New York, would like to cordially invite you and your family from Wednesday, April 9th to Saturday, April 12th for 4 sessions of Devi Yajna in celebration of Pujari Kavirdas Jitu's 70th birthday. For more information, please contact Pujari Kavirdas Jitu at 917-929-7150. That's Pujari Kavirdas Jitu at 917-929-7150.
Krishna
I want to say pranam to Chatham and Sarju from Trinidad and Tobago as well. So as you know, in every show that I do, I like to share a story that can help to illuminate our path or indeed to help to teach us about Hindu spirituality. And today is no different. Today's discourse has focused on Ma Sheetala, the goddess that rides the donkey and the goddess that holds the broom in her hand. And throughout this discourse, we have discussed and we have emphasized that this goddess is in charge of the domain of sickness. Whether that is warding off illness or indeed curing an illness or sickness. Earlier on in the program, we discussed that when it comes to children, when children are born, some devotees choose to shave the head of that child before the image, before the murti of Ma Sheetala for her blessings. We have also discussed that 8 days after Holi is celebrated, this goddess is worshipped on her Ashtami, the Sheetala Ashtami. But now we turn to a little story about a temple of Ma Sheetala in Garagon, in the Haryana state of India. In the Haryana state of India, there is a Shakti Preet. And when I use the word Shakti Preet, that is an area or a temple where there is great spiritual power. It is a center of spiritual power where many, many devotees will come, will do worship and receive the blessings of the goddess, whatever form of the goddess that is. So in the state of Haryana, in Garagon, there is a Shakti Preet of Ma Sheetala. And it is a temple that many devotees go to seek the blessings of this form of the goddess. But there is a little backstory on how this temple was built. There was once a carpenter. He was a poor man, but he had a beautiful daughter. Everyone was infatuated with the image of his daughter. Everyone wanted to marry his daughter. However, there would be a great problem. One of the Mughal rulers had seen his daughter and wanted to marry her. However, this Mughal ruler was outside of the religion. He was not a Hindu. So the carpenter objected. The carpenter did not want his daughter to be married to this ruler. But this ruler was great and he was powerful. He wanted to, by force, marry the daughter of this carpenter against her wishes and indeed against the wishes of her father. So this poor carpenter, he goes to the king of his region and he appeals to the king. Because the king is in charge of this region. The The king is the individual who is supposed to take care of his people, take care of their concerns, and be of help to them. But when he approaches the king and tells the king about this problem, the king doesn't care. The king just simply brushes it off. The king doesn't want to help the poor carpenter. And why? Why doesn't the king want to help one of his subjects, one of the individuals that reside in his region, which he governs? Well, it's just simply a carpenter. A man of low social status. The king doesn't want to intervene because to the king, this carpenter and his concerns are of no value, of no substance. And this relates to the world that we live in today. Your social ranking, the economic power that you carry, influences how people treat you. We live in a world today where no matter how good you are, no matter how much of a noble individual you are, people treat you according to your wealth and according to the social status you hold. So this carpenter is facing this reality. He's a poor man without influence in the society. And the king sees him as a nobody. The king sees him not as an individual who is worthy, but an individual who deserves to be brushed off. So the king decides to just leave this matter alone. So the carpenter then seeks help from the prince. He goes to the prince and he tells the prince about what's happening. And the prince, unlike his father, decides to act. He sees that his father is neglecting his duties. But the son, the prince, takes a stand. He turns to the carpenter and he says, I will fight this ruler and I will be victorious. Today, as I stand before you, O carpenter, I make a promise to the goddess Ma Sheetlama. I make a promise to the goddess Ma Sheetlama to bless me, and that if she blesses me with victory against this ruler, I will worship her in a grand way. And I will build a grand temple for her. Today, as I stand before you, O carpenter, you are my witness to the promise that I'm making today. If I am victorious against this battle and defeat this ruler who wants to marry your daughter, I will make offerings to this goddess. I will come back to Garagun and I will make a big temple for Ma Sheetlama. Because it would be through her grace and through her blessings I would be successful. So the prince goes on to wage battle against this Mongol ruler. And the prince is successful. defeats the ruler, and he saves the carpenter's daughter. But something happens. Something happens after the prince gains victory. After the prince gains victory, they start making their way back to Garagoon. But the horses that they are traveling on need to take a break. So they find a little body of water, and they allow their horses to drink water and relax. Because the journey back to Garagoon is quite a far journey. And they are traveling on horse. But something happens in this little break of theirs. Something happens. After the horses rest, they jump on their horses and want to make their way back to Garagoon. But the horses refuse to move. They try all these different things, but the horses are refusing to move. They're stuck in one place. So the prince seeks advice from a spiritual man. He goes to a spiritual man and he tells him, all the horses of my army refuse to move. And we have to make our way back to Garagoon. Why is this happening? Why is this happening today? We need to go back to Garagoon. But my horses do not want to move. The spiritual man tells him, remember, you made a promise to the goddess Sheetala. You made a promise that when you win the war against the Mongol ruler, you will make an offering for Sheetala. And when you go back to Garagoon, you will build this big temple for Sheetala. But what happened to the offering? Oh prince, what happened to the offering you promised the goddess? The prince comes to the realization of what he forgot to do. The prince had promised to make an offering upon winning and gaining victory against his Mongol ruler. He was supposed to make an offering for Sheetala. Before he even went about his journey back to his home of Garagoon. But he did not. And the goddess Sheetala stopped his horses from moving. So the prince goes back to the area, the little body of water where the horses are, and he makes this offering for Sheetala. He takes coconut, he takes fruits, he makes kheer and etc. He uses sindoor and haldi, and in addition to mehendi. And he makes a big offering to Sheetala, thanking the goddess for blessing him with victory against this ruler. The horses begin to move again. And ultimately speaking, the prince goes on to build a temple for Sheetala. And that is the temple today that exists in the state of Harnia, in Garagoon, the temple of Ma Sheetala is the same temple that was built by the prince. A temple today that thousands and thousands visit. But what is the lesson of this story? What is the lesson that we can draw from this story? It is quite a simple lesson. When we fail to perform our spiritual duties, hindrances and problems will come about. Your spiritual duties, that is your duties to pray. That is the duties that you make or you are required to make, are most important. When you make a promise for the goddess, know that whatever you have promised to do for the goddess will deliver. But you must also keep your end of the bargain, your end of the deal. Otherwise, problems will come about. Otherwise, hindrances will come about. And it brings me ultimately to this point as I'm about to close this program. The marker of a true devotee, the marker of a real and true devotee, is the devotee who can keep his or her promises and fulfill his or her spiritual duties in the face of whatever is occurring in their life. Because remember, promises are a reflection of our character. And what character do we hold before the goddess? What character do we hold before the various deities? If we break our promises before them. The true marker of a devotee, the true marker of a true devotee, is the one that keeps their promise regardless. No matter what occurs in their life, they fulfill their duties, they pray. No matter what transpires in their life, they still believe. They still want to fulfill those obligations and duties. But many today in this world today, they run into that issue of forgetting their spiritual duties. And what happens to them? Great problems come about. Great hindrances come about. Sometimes severe accidents come about. But remember, they brought that upon themselves. Because they knew what their duties were. And they failed to meet them. So this is today's story and today's lesson. Before I leave, I want to say pranam and good morning to Wendy Tackardine and the entire Tackardine family. I want to say pranam to Mina Cromwell and our Kala family. I want to say pranam to Rita Dolly. I want to say pranam to Patsy Singh. With the next bhajan in mind, my friends, I'll be taking my leave. Sitaram Om Shakti. Until we meet again, my friends, may the Divine Devi, Ma Sheetala, bless each and every one of you profoundly. Until we meet again, my friends, have a blessed week ahead.
राधे गोविंद मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। श्री राधे गोविंद मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है, रंगलाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है। श्री राधे गोविंद मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। श्री राधे गोविंद मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है, नगलाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है। श्री राधे गोविंद मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। श्री राधे गोविंद मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
Before I leave as well, I want to say pranam and good morning to Tajan family. I also want to take this opportunity to say pranam and good morning to Uncle Darshan. Before I leave as well, I want to say pranam and good morning to Sandra Mahadeo. If I happen to miss your name or greeting, I do humbly apologize. Until we meet again, my friends, may the divine Devi Ma Sheetala shower her grace and blessings on you and your family.
मन की कुंज गलिन में सबको नाच नचाए। श्री राधे गोविंद मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। श्री राधे गोविंद मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है, नगडाला हरि का